ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः PDF page 56 first line संक्षेपतः
Remaji, you're muted.
संक्षेपतः
परविद्या विषयम् अक्षरम्
परविद्या विषयम् अक्षरम्
निर्विशेषं पुरुषं सत्यम्
निर्विशेषं पुरुषं सत्यम्
दिव्यः हि अमूर्तः इत्यादिना मन्त्रेण
दिव्यः हि अमूर्तः इत्यादिना मन्त्रेण
उक्त्वा
उक्त्वा
पुनः तद् एव सविशेषम्
पुनः तदेव सविशेषम्
विस्तरेण वक्तव्यम् इति
विस्तरेण वक्तव्यम् इति
प्रववृते.
प्रववृते.
Yeah. So, an interesting section, 2.1. Dvitiya Mundake Pratamah Khandaha, where we have completed 3 mantras, studying 3 mantras. So, this Jagat Karanam Brahma is being unfolded. Introduction was given earlier, but still, Upanishad wants to say more. 212 Divyohyamurtah Purushaha talks about Nirgunam Brahma, the Paramartha Swarupam of Brahman. And then number 3, etasmājjāyate prāṇah. From that Nirgunam Brahma came this entire universe. Okay, so Panchabhutas were said, Kham vāyuh jyotihi apaha, etc. And also prāṇa, manaḥ, sarvendriyāṇi was mentioned. So the basic things we know about srishti. Tasmādva etasmāt ākāsha sambhūtah. So all that this was described. Plus a few more, prāṇa, etc. Then, even though Upanishad doesn't say etasmāt only, etasmāt means brahmanaha. From this Brahman only, all these things have come about. From this divyaha, from this amurtaha, from this purushaha, from this sabahya bhyantaraha, from this ajaha. So you can say ajat, etasmat ajat, etasmat purushat, all that will come. Shankaracharya also said that. But then we say, okay, Nirgunam Brahma, just keep it alone. Leave it aside. Let Nirgunam Brahma be. We'll come to it later. Whenever you want to engage, talk about transactions, movement, creation is a big movement, Creation is a very big thing, Srishti. And so you just bring Maya into the picture and talk about Sagunam Brahma. Sagunam Brahma. Then you can talk about forms, shapes, sizes and all that and all these rupas, Akasha, Vayu and all the special forms, special things. And so that speciality, once you talk about Brahman, Nirgunam Brahman is also special. Compared to all the special things that we know, Nirgunam Brahman is even more special. So it becomes like that. But these special qualities, when you start talking about, you have to talk about Sagunam Brahma only. Therefore, if somebody asks us, etasmājjāyate means which Brahman it is, Nirgunam Brahma or Sagunam Brahma, immediately you should say Sagunam Brahma. Because Nirgunam Brahma has no attribute. How it can do anything? We say Akarta and all that. So therefore, Akarta cannot create. Creation happens in the presence of Akarta. That's how that's what we are trying to learn here. Therefore, so that Brahman as Karanam Brahma. That Karanam Brahma, Sagunam Brahma, Ishvaraha, Maya Sahita Brahma Ishvara is going to be talked about in the rest of this section. In the rest of this section. And of course, finally, this whole Karana Karyam, and everything is Karana Karyam only. Our mind thinks like that. But who are you? Somebody asks. Somebody means I am going to ask myself. Nobody is interested in talking to me about Advaita Vedanta. So I have to ask myself. Because my life only I have to decide. We are going to decide. So who am I if I say that Atma is Nirgunam Brahma? And so I don't have to worry about creation. Brahman created the world. Atma did not create the world. How can I be Brahma? That question need not arise. Because Atma cannot create the world. Who said Atma created the world? Sagunam Brahma only created the world. Atma with Maya created the world. We can say something like that. Because Atma and Brahma are identical, So therefore, my question has to be carefully understood. Munjad ishikam iva Viveka Chudam. I like that example. So finally, talking about Srishti and all, finally we knock off both Karanam or Karanatvam and Karyatvam. Cause and effect status of anything, of Brahma we knock off. We remove, we negate. Why should we do this? Well, first of all, that's because that is the truth. A small boy knew all this. And Shankaracharya is so impressed by the boy that he uses the boy's question as an answer when he explains in some places in the Bhashyam. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, he will say, as though that is a definition of Atma. Anyatra asmat krita kritat. Tell me that which is different from cause and effect. That boy is asking there in that Upanishad. Here also this student Shaunaka is asking, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. He says, I want to know the whole, he doesn't say. He says, what I should know, and if I know that, then it's as good as knowing the entire universe. Very odd question. These Upanishad questions are all odd because the subject is like that. Parachaiva paracha. Paravidya. See, now you see, you can connect the science and Vedas, that topic we talked in another class, Kaivalya class. Science and so Paravidya, Aparavidya. Answer is right there in this Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. So that's the background here. So knocking off Karanam and Karya. That is why you must have heard the word Neti Neti. Even I heard the heard this phrase Neti Neti. I don't know how we hear all these things. As a student and all, I don't know how I heard it. Some Neti Neti I used to remember. It is not there in any puja, prarthana, nothing. You won't hear any Neti Neti. Then how do you hear Neti Neti? This is called culture. Living in this particular land, we end up hearing all these things. What is the meaning of neti? See, it comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Neti, neti. It means what? Na iti, na iti. No, it is not. No, it is not. That is all it is. That's all it means. The question is this. Is Brahman perceptible, perceivable? Is it an object of perception? No. Na iti. Then what is it? Is Brahman grahyaha? No, it is agrahyaha, neti, agrahyaha. Okay, this mantra is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. You can make a note if you want. 4:4:22. Okay, is Brahman agrahyaha? No, agrahyaha. Then he says, is Brahman shiryaha? Shiryaha. Does it decline? Is it subject to diminishing? No, na iti Brahman ashiryaha. Then what? He says, is Brahman sangaha? Means sajyateva? Does it get attached to things? No, Brahman is asangaha, na iti. Na iti. No. Answer to that also is no. Then is Brahman vyatateva? Vyatate means, will it get damaged? Is it a victim of something or the other? Can somebody come and knock off Brahman? Like knocking off the world champ, somebody comes. No, asitaha. Asitaha means it cannot be damaged, affected. Na rishyate. Like this big list is given. Na iti, na iti. That is the famous neti neti. Neti neti. Means what? Is it karanam Brahma? Is Brahma karanam? Na iti. Can confidently say that. Na iti. Then what is it effect? Because these are only two things we know. Is it's a cause or it's produced, it's an effect. Na iti, it's neither a cause nor produced. That's the whole thinking process. That's how the teaching works. So let's now that we've read this, Sankshe, now we can see this. So I'm going to give an example. It is like this banana. Somebody gives you a banana. You don't just put it in the mouth like that. You have to first peel it off. Peel off. So first do all the peeling. Then only the banana is there for you to eat. Then once you eat the banana, what happens? So that first part, peeling off, is called adhyaropaha. In defining Brahman in terms of cause and effect, in terms of all the qualities, is called adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means it's a projection. It's a projection because this whole cause effect is really not an attribute of Brahman, and therefore it's called adhyaropa. Then what do you do after all that? Having said all that, you have to come and say, no, Nirgunam Brahma does not have all these attributes. And that's called apavadaha. Adhyaropa apavadabhyam. Very famous. Adhyaropa apavadabhyam means the Vedanta can only be taught in this manner. Because Paravidya is like that. You can't use the frameworks of Aparavidya and then jump into Paravidya. No chance. We saw that last time. And so, then what happens if the banana is swallowed? Then it becomes one with me. Aikyam. Jiveshwara Aikyam. Aikyam. That's it. Because you can't figure out gone. It's gone into some corner somewhere. Completely merged. Merging. This is why people like all these words, merging and all that. They love it. So, okay. Sankshepataha paravidya vishayam aksharam. So underline the following words. Sankshepataha aksharam uktva. These words you can underline. Sankshepataha aksharam uktva. Uktva. Uktva means what? Having said. Having said. Having mentioned. Okay. Having mentioned what? Aksharam uktva. Aksharam is the Dvitiya Vibhakti, object of this sentence. Aksharam uktva. You can, yeah, Sankshepataha, you don't have to underline. Main sentence is this. Aksharam uktva. Having talked about Aksharam. Where was it talked about? Earlier it was, he mentioned Aksharam. Yaya tad Aksharam adhigamyate. And then Aksharam was defined by Adreshyam, Agrahyam, Agotram, Avarnam, Achakshushrodram, Tadapaanipadam, Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam Susukshvam Tadavyayam Yad Bhuta Yonim Paripashyanti Dhiraha. I think that must come pretty close to that Aksharam. So that is Aksharam. How was that Aksharam told? Sankshepataha. Briefly only it was told. Really it was not explained. Briefly. Sankshepataha Aksharam Uktva. Kaha Uktva, who said this? Upanishad said it. She only is saying all these things. And so Upanishad Sankshepataha Aksharam Uktva, having said it, and few more words are there. What is this Aksharam? Shankaracharya says Paravidya Vishayam. It is not Shankara's word. It is Upanishad's word. Paravidya Vishayam. Same. Dve vidye veditavye iti hasmayad vedavido or brahma vido vidanti. Hey, those who know Brahma say there are two types of knowledge. Dve vidye veditavye. These two types of knowledge must be understood. You can figure out the mantra. It is somewhere it comes. Yeah, 114 in your PDF book, page 13. I actually went and looked it up. Page 13, in case you are struggling to go back. Sometimes this book pages, sometimes you look for it, you won't find it at all. And I didn't want you to struggle. So I actually said page 13, 114. Dve vidye veditavye. Parachaiva paracha. There Paravidya was mentioned. Then Aksharam, next mantra Aksharam. Tatra para. What is apara? Our Angiras lists. And then what is para was said? Atha para atha yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. That by which this Aksharam is understood. Like the way the 10th man, Dashamaha, understands that he is the Dashamaha. And once he understands it, that's it. The sorrow and all the crying and weeping all gone. Just gone right then. There is no need for him to do anything else. He doesn't even have to thank his teacher. Thanking can come later on. If he wants to thank, he can thank. But otherwise, it's all gone. Sorrow is gone. Okay. And so like that. Yaya. So there he said, Yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. That by which aksharam is understood. And which book talks about all that? No, he doesn't say anything. Upanishad doesn't say anything. For Aparavidya, he gives a big list. Yajurvedam, etc. Samavedam, Rigvedam, Yajurvedam, Samavedam, Atharva Vedaha. Then further subjects, Siksha, Vyakaranam, Kalpam, Niruktam, Chando, Jyotishamiti, and all he gives. You can add all our sciences. The entire world, you do a Google Chat GPT and say, list all the fields that are there, people are studying in this world. I don't know what Chat GPT will do. It lists list, subject after subject, it will list from top to bottom. And it will put a disclaimer at the end. This may not be the only thing. Like that. Disclaimer. Disclaimers are good, We can hide behind disclaimers. So, but that shows that list is big. It's growing. That is called aparavidya. Okay, you know all these things. So, that is paravidya vishayam aksharam. And further, what is aksharam? Nirvishesham. Attributeless. Okay. Purusham, also called Purusha. Somewhere that Purusha, Divyokhyamurtah Purushaha. They right there in the previous mantra we have Purushaha. Purusham. Satyam also. Satyam came there. Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam. No, not Satyam didn't come there, I don't think so. Yeah. So Satyam. Satyam as opposed to Mithya. What is the definition of Satyam?
Tadetat Satyam, it came now. Previously.
Wait a minute. Something happened. Yeah. Okay. What is the definition of Satyam? That is a question. How will you answer? You have to say Trikalepi abhaditam. Trikalepi tishtati iti satyam. In all three periods of time, it exists. Trikalepi tishtati or Trikalabhaditam satyam. It cannot be negated in all three periods of time. Like that you have to say. That means it is ajaha, it is unborn, it continues to existed, vartamane api existed, future bhavishyadapi it will exist. Even after pralaya, mahapralaya it will exist. Even next srishti it will be there. That is called satyam. Trikalepi tishtati iti satyam. So that's satyam. So don't think Purusha means another thing and then Aksharam is another thing, Paravidya Visham is another thing. No, they are all in Samanadhikaraniyam. Everything is describing Aksharam. Uktva. And in what way it was said? Divyokhyamurtaf ityadi mantrena. So he is referring to the previous mantra. Having mentioned briefly earlier and now also. Divyokhyamurtaha ityadina means by mantras like this. Like the previous mantra. All right. Punaha tadeva savishesham vistarena vaktavyam iti pravavrite. You can underline the words vistarena vaktavyam and pravavrite. Punaha tadeva savishesham vistarena vaktavyam. Vaktavyam must be told. Must be told. What must be told? Tadeva. Tadeva. Now, in fact, better to underline tad. Tadeva vaktavyam, you underline. That is enough. Everything else we can bring. Tadeva vaktavyam. That same nirvishesham, purusham, paravidya vishayam, aksharam, satyam. Tadeva vaktva. Again, Upanishad it must be told. Why it must be told? Previously Sankshepataha it was told very briefly. Now what? Vistarena Vaktavyam. It must be elaborated. Brief, abstract. Every paper has an abstract. Then you got a elaboration. The entire paper is written. Then summary. So Punaha Savishesham. With more detail. Give me some detail. Give me some detail. Okay. Tadeva, Punaha, again, Tadeva, the same Brahman has to be told in more detail along with all its attributes. Okay. Iti pravavrite. Iti, for this reason, with this intention, iti vivakshayam, with vivaksha means with that intention. Who has this intention? Upanishad has that intention. Upanishad pravavrite. Prabhavrite. Vrit dhatu. Vrit vartane. In the sense of happening, in the sense of being present. Happening. They say New York is a happening place. Happening place. Have you heard this phrase, happening place? So like that they say. So the happening means what? Something must be going on. Singapore also must be a happening place, I think. We don't have to go all the way to New York. From Indians, we can go to Singapore. Bombay also we can go. happening place. So vartane, that is the meaning. Vrit vartane. And so prakarshena vavrite, vavrite, vavritate, vavritire. That's how it goes. It's Atmanepadi also. And it is lit Atmanepadi. Prathama Purushaha Ekavachanam. Vrit. So pravavrite means what? Means proceeded, started to speak, started to explain. Pravavrite. Pravrittim karoti. Engaged in explaining. Has started explaining. Something like that you should say. Pravavrite. Upanishad Pravavrite. All right. So I think you understand what is going on. Sankshepatah uktva vistarena vaktavyam iti pravavrite. Having told Brahman briefly, now Brahman needs to be explained further. It's not enough. Why you should do all these things? Why don't you say Purnamadah, Purnamidam, Purnat and then finish off? That is what he's going to say next. Okay. संक्षेप विस्तरोक्तः
संक्षेप विस्तरोक्तः
हि
हि
पदार्थः
पदार्थः
सुखाधिगम्यः
सुखादिगम्यः
भवति
भवति
सूत्रभाष्य
सूत्रभाष्य
उक्तिवत् इति.
उक्तिवतिथि.
Very good. So he is explaining why should Upanishad say something in brief and then elaborate it later. Logic. Shankaracharya is explain. All right. See, you can underline the words Sankshepa Vistaroktaha Sukhadi Gamyaha. That is enough. He's saying Sankshepa Vistaroktihi or Uktaroktaha. That which is told briefly first, Sankshepena, and then Vistarena, Ukti. Ukti means or Uktaha means told. That which is told in this manner. Briefly you say something, paint us. Briefly you say something, then you paint the entire picture. Briefly only they will tell you. House, where do you want to construct a house. Then this location, that thing, this kind of house, that kind of house. Here I don't know, they must have some technical words to describe what kind of house you want. In the US, I used to remember they used to say stucco house and all. I said, what is stucco house? I had no idea what is a stucco house. I got stuck when they said stucco house. Then I realized I didn't have Google those days. So somehow I figured out this must be stucco house. So anyway, so they have all these ideas. So briefly you said stucco house. How many bedrooms do you want? Do you want 1, 2, 3? How many people are there? We have only 2 people. Then how many bedrooms? 6 bedrooms. Okay, 6 bedrooms. Because people might come and all, no? You can't just have 2 bedrooms. That's too small. You must have a lot of bedrooms. So when people come during Christmas, you can just host them. They don't have to go to hotel and all that. Your house is the hotel. So 6 bedroom. Okay, how many floors here? How many floors? Okay, floors, 2 floors. Then how many? All that. Okay, that's it. Briefly told. And briefly also, what is the price? That also briefly only they will say. Afterwards only you will get into details. So, brief and detail. That's all. Okay. Samkshepa vistaroktaha hi padarthaha. Any padartha. Anything in this, anything that you deal with. This is how you understand things. And that's how it should be. Good teachers have to do that. Otherwise, they are just reading from books and they're just wasting their time and students' time also. Unfortunately, the education system is like that. What to do? So, he sukadigamya. Only then, this adigamya means understanding. Adhigamya, understanding. Only then the understanding will be sukham. Sukham adhigamya yasya saha. That padartha can be understood well only if you follow this process of brevity and then elaboration. Bhavati, sukadigamya bhavati. Very simple to understand this. Now he gives an example. Shankara. I gave all this house, this, that example. Look at this. Sutra bhāshyokti vat iti. Vat means like. Whenever you put the vat suffix, one of the meanings of the vat suffix, one of the meanings, not the only meaning, one of the meanings is just as or like, similar to. All right. So like what? Bhāshyokti. Sutra bhāshyokti. Sutra bhāshyokti. Like sutra and bhashyam. Sutra is brief. Like all these mantras are all brief, This Upanishad mantra is brief. We can't make head or tail of the mantra. It is just vague. If you can identify one or two words, great. And so, sutra. And then, but bhashyam. Bhashyam, somebody has to come and explain it. Like sutra and bhashyam. But sutra technically does not mean this Upanishad mantra, okay? Upanishad mantra is not an example of a sutra. All right, I don't know how far I should go here, but I think you all should know all these things. Before I go there, a brief description of Vedanta. Tell me briefly what Vedanta is. If somebody asks you, what will you say? Very briefly. Okay, you want a brief? See, he's asking for trouble. Correct? Briefly tell me what Vedanta is. Hey, I've been studying for 3, 4 years, 5 years. I'm getting a grasp of it. He wants to know very briefly. Okay, you see, if somebody asks like this, you give it back to him. Don't be shy, okay? Don't be shy. Now that you've been studying a while now. Don't be shy. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Remember this, just memorize this, I'm telling you. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Okay, then who are you? Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Jiva is Brahma. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Na Aparaha. Not anything other than that. Jiva is Brahma. That is the critical part. And so until then it's all theory. You know what is theory? So the Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya theory. Important for us, it's very critical. That is the goal. That's what brings us into this line. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Then only we jump into this Shastra. Then what? Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. You just tell him this. And keep quiet. Don't open your mouth beyond that. You wanted it briefly, because if I open my mouth, it becomes Vistara, right? He asked only for brief. Then how can you talk beyond this? Just say this. And let's see what he says. And so that is brief. And so our Shankaracharya, I think, our Sachidananda Swamiji, he quoted this. I don't know how many of you remember this. When he was talking about Maya. Shlokardhena pravakshyami Grantakotibihi. What is it? Yaduktam Grantakotibihi. I will tell you in half a shloka which was told in millions of texts. Shlokadhena Pravakshyami. I am about to tell you in half a shloka what so many millions of texts have told. And what is that? This thing that we just quoted. Brahma Satyam, etc. Okay, that's it over. Vedanta is over. This is called Vista. This is called Sankshepataha. Uktva. Then Bhashyams and all that, you know all that. Texts and Prakarana Grantha and on people write. Because we have to decondition ourselves. This deconditioning is what takes time. Understanding that sentence doesn't take long, really speaking. But deconditioning and then just we have to dwell over it. Like the rasagulla, it's good only after making and all, you can't eat it. It has to soak in the liquid. One couple is there. One couple, and they're old. They don't have. They're not well off and all. So I gave them a Rasgulla can, and you should see the joy in their face. And all you have to do is open it and then eat. And they're so happy. How do you open it, etc. They were saying, no, you be careful. You just open it like this. Then you pull it out this way. Can I keep it closed? Once you open it, you try to finish it. And Rasagulla won't get spoiled just like that. Okay, so they know all that. So like that, they were so happy. And that too, it's in a can. So it's been soaking, we don't know for how many months. Correct? Correct. It's not like I made yesterday and then I gave it this evening, right? No, it's not like that. Like that, if I do, at least there is a doubt. Has it soaked enough? This is can. So good. Good Rasagullas. All right. So, Sutra Bhaksha Uktivat. Okay. Sutra Bhaksha Uktivat. Now, what I want to tell you is this footnote you have in your notebook, footnote number 26. Okay, Alpaksharam iti, it says. Okay, Alpaksharam iti Sutra. Write this down. I'm going to dictate something to you. These are all things you have to know, technical things. So I can simply go over it, but write this down. Alpaksharam. I'm going to dictate to you a shloka. So you just write it where you can write the shloka and write the meaning. The meaning also I'm going to explain. Alpaksharam asandigdham asandigdham अल्पाक्षरम असंदिग्धम सारवत 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 विश्वतो मुखम सारवत विश्वतो मुखम 4 words are there अल्पाक्षरम असंदिग्धम सारवत विश्वतो मुखम okay अस्तोभम अस्तोभम ASTO अस्तोभम अनवद्यं च अस्तोभम अनवद्यं च अनवद्यम अस्तोभम अनवद्यं च सूत्रम सूत्रविदो विदुः सूत्रम सूत्रविदो विदुः Sutram, Sutravido, Viduhu. I'm going to explain it so you can correct it. Any spellings, not to worry. Okay, so Sutram, Sutravido, Viduhu. Sutravido, Viduhu. These people who know Sutras, Sutravid means what? People who know the Sutras, Sutravidaha, Viduhu. They know Sutram in the following way. Those who know the Sutram in the following way. What a weird way of explaining all these things. Only in Sanskrit you will find all this. Sutram, Sutra, Vido, Vidu. Instead of simply defining Sutra is this. That's all you should say. But he says those who know Sutra tell that Sutra means this. That is the meaning. Alright, what is Sutra? Alpaksharam. First I'll give you an example of a Sutra. Then we will look at the words. See, Brahma Sutram, Pāṇini Sutram, these are all texts we study. Where Ashtadhyayi means it's all Pāṇini has written the entire Sanskrit language engine in the form of very cryptic statements. Cryptic statements. Vriddhiradaich. Vriddhiradaich. How many of you understood Vriddhiradaich? No, nobody should raise your hand. If you raise your hand, then my whole talk will become waste. So, don't raise your hand, okay? Vriddhiradaich. Ikoyanachi. Like this, if I say, okay, achorahabhyam dve. Like this, if I say, already Upanishad, some words, the Upanishad becomes easy when I say these things, correct? No, please, Guruji, please go back to Upanishad. That is what it is. Cryptic. Okay. This is how the entire Panini people we are teaching Panini Sutras and all. So Ashtadhyayi is being taught. Ashtadhyayi is full. I, I forget how many sutras there are. Okay. It's a 2000, 3000. I used to remember the number. Now I forgot. So that many sutras. People are studying all this. I'll give you an example. What is the meaning of the sutra? I'll tell you. If I go there, it's beautiful. It is. I'm telling you, you all should know these things. At least the overview you should have. Panini is explaining how each word is formed. From what? From those things I told you the other day. Basic aksharam is there, and then dhatus are there. From these things, all words are generated, I told you. And the generation engine is given in this entire sutras. This is what Ashtadhyayi is. And Sandhi also, you're seeing we are all breaking the Sandhis, right? Just now we read, let's read that line. See, for example, okay, mantrena uktva. My book says mantrena uktva. See, PDF, they make it easy by splitting all these things. But if Gita Press says mantrena uktva. Really it is two words, mantrena uktva. Two words are there. How did mantrena uktva become mantrena uktva? Ikoyanachi. That is the answer to that question. Ikoyanachi. That is, so ik. Ik is there. Okay. Ik. No, this is not ikoyanachi, but anyway, ik say ik. Ik means it's a code word. You know, those days we used to do what is called this telex, Morse code. Okay, Morse code. I think you know Morse code. You know, dot, 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 something. They have this code. And that code is there here.
It was in railways, they used to do very frequently in our
every system, they have code. Telex code was there, and like you give greetings. Those days to communication was a very big thing. So to best wishes on your marriage, there will have a number. You have to look at the number 322. So you tell them 322. This guy will send 322 to Chandigarh, and Chandigarh post office will translate 322 to best marriage wishes. And then that greeting will go there. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is a code. The 322 is the code.
15,
Like this,
16,
the entire...
22.
Huh?
16, 22.
Yeah. Like this, the entire Ashtadhyayi is filled with these code words, and based on the code words, you have more and more logic. Ik means what? To understand ik, you have to understand what is the list of letters. List of letters is not ik is referring to a group of letters. Group of letters. Which group of letters? E. Okay, let's find it out. Ayivun relik. Ayivun relik. Ayivun is a sutram. Ayivun. Ayivun. A, I, U. Three letters are there. A, I, U. A means A and A. E means E and E. U means U and U. Ayivun. What is un? Hey, un is just like the peanut has a shell, you know. You don't eat the shell. You just break the shell and take the peanut. Like that, un is a protective layer for these letters. Ayivun. Relik. Relik. R and L. Next to two letters. Two letters are there. Aong. Aong. A, I. Sorry. A and O. I ouch. I ouch. I and ow. A-O, I-O. That's it. All the vowels are covered in this list. So his way of ordering is called Maheshwara Sutrani. You may have heard about Maheshwara Sutrani. Ayivun, Rilik, Aong, I ouch, Hayavara Tillan, Nyamanga Nanam, Jabai Gadadash, Jabagadadash, Kapachatata Chatatau, Kapai Shasasar, Hal iti Maheshwara Sutrani. That is the way they say Shiva ka dhamaru se ye sounds ye shabd mila. This is not ordinary. This is not ordinary at all, because that is, we don't study this at all. We study a, I, u, e, I, and then ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. That's how it goes. It's okay for learning our language. It's okay, but to understand Deva Bhasha properly, you have to study this I, una. That itself is a sutra. I, una. That is the first sutra. Then that ik, what is ik? Let's go through this. Okay. E. Okay. E means the group of letters beginning with E. Leave out A because it's starting with E only. Ik is starting with E. So A is gone. E, starting from E. E, U, E, Un, R, Lk. Okay. Ka, ik is there. Okay. So ik means what? E, U, R, L. That's it. That is a code word. Ik means code word to refer to these group of letters. So iko yanachi means what? Ik, ikaha. When a word is ending with ik, means I, U, R, L, and followed by achi. Ach. Now what is ach? Same thing. I, un, riluk, e, ong, I, ouch. Ah, there it is. So from a all the way to this last letter, I, ouch. That means all vowels. It's ityartha. That is why ach, ajanta. You see all this word ajanta and all in this Shabda Manjari. They have ajanta pullinga. Okay, ajanta pullinga means what? Aj means swara. Swaranta pullinga. That means all these masculine gender words which end with the letter with a vowel. Ach. That's how swara has been called as ach. Wow, because of this Maheshwara Sutrani. Anyway, iko and achi. When the ik is followed, the next word begins with ach. Ach means any vowel. Here, not any vowel. Ik, except the a. Then you have to, these two will join and it will be replaced by yan. Iko yan achi. Yan. What is yan? Okay, we have to do the same thing. I, un, riluk, e, ong, I, ouch, ha, ya. Yan means it has letters beginning from ya all the way to un. Okay. Ha, ya, varat, lan. Okay. Stop. Yan, right? So ha, ya, varat, lan. So ha, ya, vara, la. Haya, vara, la. That is what yan means. Code word. And so that's what you see. That's what you see. So bhavati atra, if I say bhavati atra e. Okay, this previous word is ending with the letter e, which is part of ik, and then atra means a. It is starting with a vowel a. All right, now ripe for this rule to act. And then bhavati atra, bhavatyatra. Yeah, because yan is there. So that first letter E will be replaced by this first letter of yan. First letter of ik will be replaced by the first letter of this yan. Iko yan achi. Just an introduction for you. Look at the sutra. This is called sutra. Alpaksharam. Look at that. I dictated Alpaksharam. It should be, a sutra is a construct which has the fewest number of letters. Not one letter more. So Panini just came up with this whole thing. Alpaksharam. But in the process, it's asandigdham. Asandigdham. Sandeha. There is no doubt at all. There's no doubt means it's complete in itself. Asandigdham. Saravat. It has to be meaningful. Not like children also say, potato. That also is sutram only. But it's meaningless. It's meaningless. It's not meaningless. Okay, alpaksharam, asandigdam, saravat. It has sara. Too much sara. The eco energy is what? It defines how the sandhis are formed in everybody's writing. Alpaksharam, asandigdam, saravat, viśvato mukham. If a sutra lends itself to many meanings, more than one meaning, then all the meanings should work. And none of the meaning should contradict some meaning elsewhere. First sutra, second sutra, then 2651st sutra. Gone. No, it can't be like that. Everything is in harmony. Vishvato mukham. Harmony. And then what? Vishvato mukham. Astobham. Astobham. Anavadyam. Astoba. Stoba means all these what is exclamatory remarks. Ha, oh, hi. All these words cannot be there. All this interjection, I don't know what they say in English. So those extra appellations cannot be there. That means it becomes a filler. No, no fillers are allowed. Astobham. Anavadyam, irrefutable, error-free. Anavadyam cannot be refuted. Solid. All right. Anavadyam, astobham, anavadyancha, sutram, sutravido, viduhu. Okay. This is called sutra. This is the actual definition of sutra. Shankara just assumes we know all these things. So sometimes we loosely use the word sutra. Upanishad mantra we say. Generally we don't say sutra for an Upanishad mantra. So we'll say sutra for just to refer to something. Some beautiful statement somewhere we can say sutra. But this is the real meaning of sutra. And so Swami used to say, when they write sutras, when they succeed in removing one letter from the sutra, and still get the same meaning, the joy they get is like the joy of a child being born. Obviously, you can imagine. Alpaksharam, no? So, okay, this is sutra. Now I'm going to give you another shloka which defines bhashyam. Bhashyam. Okay, let's write this down. Sutrartho. Sutrartho. Sutrartho varnyate yatra. Varnyate yatra. Sutrartho varnyate yatra. Vakyaihi. Vakyaihi. Oh, is it there in your book? It is not there, no? Sutrartho iti it says, your footnote says. So they have not given it. Sutrartho varnyate yatra vakyaihi sutranusaribihi. Sutranusaribihi. Sutra anusaribihi. Sutranusaribihi. Swapadani cha. Swapadani cha. Swapadani cha varnyante. Varnyante. I'll explain everything, okay? So, bhashyam. Bhashyavido viduhu. Bhashyavido viduhu. Okay. Bhashyam bhashyavido viduhu. Sutrartho varnete yatra vakyaihi sutranusaribihi swapadani cha varnyante bhashyam bhashyavido viduhu. See, any science you go, you get sit in any class, biology, zoology, anything, any class you go, they will start laying out a framework. Neuroscience means what? You have to know what a neuron is. So first thing they will do is draw a neuron on the board and then make sure you understand what a neuron is. And all technical terms will be there. And slowly those technical terms will be used throughout the course. And by the time the course ends, this boy or girl is thorough on all the basics. and neuron. Then the neuro something, they will have technical word. And it means something in the medical lingo, medical dictionary. Same thing here also. They use all these technical words for us. So here look at this. Bhashyam Bhashya Vido Viduhu. Bhashya Vidaha, those people who know Bhashyam, they understand Viduhu, Bhashyam as this. What is this? Sutrartho Varnyate Yatra, where the meaning of the sutra is elaborated, described, amplified, Varnyate. Okay, where the meaning of a sutra is given, okay, elaborated. By what? Vakyaihi. By sentences, not by small things. No, full sentences, Sanskrit sentences, full. Now you're free to write. So free to write. That is vakyaihi, by sentences. But these sentences can't be anything. Sutraanusaribihi. सूत्र के अनुसार रहना चाहिए. You can't just digress. Like some teachers love to digress. Knowingly or unknowingly, they digress. So, but he says here, Sutra Anusaribihi. It has to be in keeping with the Sutra. Just go along with what the Sutra is trying to tell us. Here you can say Sutra is Upanishad mantra. You can replace the word Sutra by Upanishad mantra, because that's what Bhashyam. Swapadani cha varnyante. In case you are going to use a word that is going to be difficult for readers to understand, then what you should do? You better explain that word also. Swapadani, one's own words, the Bhashikara's words also, Bhashikara should explain. Sometimes Bhashikara does that. Swapadani cha varnyante. Sutram or whatever. Bhashyam, Bhashya Vido Viduhu. Okay, this is the meaning of Sutram and Bhashyam. Why did Bhashikara say that? Hey, Sutram, just like Sutram is brief, okay, like decoction. But decoction nobody can drink. You have to put milk and add water and all that. And that is called Bhashyam. Okay, that's the idea here. So, okay, so that you understand. Sutra Bhashyokti Vat iti. Like Sutra and Bhashya, here also Upanishad also said something briefly and is going to explain. All right, let's read the next sentence. Yaha api. Yaha api.
Yaha api
Prathamajat.
pṛthamājāte
Prāṇāt.
prāṇāt
Hiranyagarbhat.
hiranyagarbhāt
Jayate.
jayate
Andasya.
dasya
Antaha.
antah
Virat.
virāt
Saha tattvantarittattvena.
tattvantarittattvena
Yeah, lakshyamanaha api.
lakshyamanah api
Etasmāt eva.
tasmāt eva
Purushat.
purushat
Jayate.
jayate
Etanmayaha.
etanmayah
Cha.
cha
Iti etad artham aha.
etad artham aha
Tam cha vishinashti.
tam cha vishinashti.
Yeah. Vishinashti explains. Visheshanam dadati. Visheshanam. Now, Upanishad is explaining. Begins to elaborate. Vishinashti. So, shish dhatu. Shisht. Shinashti. So Vishinashti. All right. That you can Google and figure out. Okay. So, which words you want to underline here? Yaha jayate virat. Underline these three words. Yaha jayate virat. Now what happens? In the previous mantra, Hiranyagarbha was talked about. Previous mantra means not this one. Yeah, etasmājjāyate prāṇah. Wait a minute, Hiranyagarbha was not mentioned here at all. Suddenly, why do you say Hiranyagarbha was talked about? Hey, this prāṇah, manaḥ, sarvendriyāṇi cha is all sukshma sharira. Sukshma sharira. So, sukshma shariram in this body I can appreciate. Samashti sukshma sharira abhimani hiranyagarbha. Samashti. Collective, universal sukshma sharira. That is Hiranyagarbha. Which is prāṇah, manaḥ, sarvendriyāṇi cha. Samashti. Who said it is only individual prāṇah? It can be samashti prāṇah also. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha was talked about. So, that Hiranyagarbha, that's what he says here. After that, after the sukshma shariram, what is going to come? Sthula shariram is going to come. That Virat word was introduced. Shankara is introducing. What is Virat? A Samashti Sthula Sharira Abhimani is Virat. Means that gross body of this, my body, I can understand. Now, collective Sthula Shariram, if you have to imagine, you just have to use the word Virat. That is the collective Sthula Shariram. Stula Sharira Upahita Chaitanyam. All these words we can say. A Chaitanyam, which everything is Chaitanyam. But Stula Sharira Upadhi, if you want to give Samashti Stula Sharira Upadhi, that entity is to be called Virat. That Virat. So from Brahman or Ishvara, you got Hiranyagarbha and now you got Virat. All right, that Virat. That is a order of creation. So therefore, Virat. So Jayate, Yaha Virat Jayate. That Virat. Now he is going into some detail. That Virat Jayate, born. That Virat is born. Virat Jayate is born. From what? Hiranyagarbhat Jayate, obviously. From Hiranyagarbha, Virat is born. This is technical. So Sukshma. Technical means what? Brahman, then Sukshma. Suppose we ask, is the individual born before or is Samashti born before? If we say, our model is pretty clear. The Samashti Sukshma Shariram is born first, then Samashti Sthula Shariram, Samashti. Then from the Samashti, individuals are born. One. All details based on their own karma. Karma. That's why karma phaladata. Everybody has to be born based on their karma, not random. We don't believe in random creation and all. So that whole karma is there. So first samashti, then vyashti. Vyashti means individual. Samashti means, there is a word for it, I'm not getting. Microcosm and macrocosm. Yeah, that's the word. Macro. All right. So from Hiranyagarbha, Virat is formed. And who is Hiranyagarbha? Prāṇāt. Previous word, Prāṇāt. Prāṇāt means Sukshma Sharirat. Because Hiranyagarbha is all Sukshma only. So Prāṇāt, which was said in the previous mantra. Then further, who is Hiranyagarbha? Prathamajaha. Firstborn. How do you know? Where was it mentioned?
Brahmaji, first sloka, no? Prathamajat.
First shloka, first mantra, correct. Brahma, long ago. Brahma devanam pratamas sambhabuva viśvasya karta bhuvanasya gopta 1.1.1. First shloka of this Upanishad. So Brahma Devanam Pratama Sambhava. Brahmaji. Okay, you can now say Hiranyagarbha is equal to Brahmaji. Brahmaji was the Pratama Sambhava. He is the Pratama Jaha. Pratamam Jayate iti Pratama Jaha. One who is born first. From Vishnu's navel, there is a particular lotus, and on the lotus, Brahmaji is sitting. That is it. That is what it is. It's all there. Somehow or other, all this imagery and all, it's all meaningful imagery. For us, it's the Srishti Prakriya. All right, we'll come to that. 5 more minutes I have. All right, Jayate. Andasya antaha virat. Some detail he is giving. There is one intermediary step between Hiranyagarbha and Virat. One more step is there. Some more detail. You can get into detail anytime, right? Like that, there is this detail. This Anda is there. Not Hiranyagarbha, referring to another entity called Anda. This cosmos, which is visualized as the elliptic, whatever, this kind of shape, elliptical shape, okay? And that intermediate is given in Aitareya Upanishad and other Upanishads. Details are all given. That detail is quietly, is just entry. Not significant for us, but that is the meaning of the word Anda. Andasya antaha. So there is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha produced this Anda, and then Virat has been formed, as though inside this Anda, the Virat is there. Like this one, hen is there inside the egg. Like that. That Anda was also there. Like that he's saying. Yaha Virat Hiranyagarbha Jayate, that Virat who is born of Hiranyagarbha, okay, Saha Tattvantaritattvena Lakshyamanaha Api. Some detail is given. Hey, even though this Virat is understood as being born of Hiranyagarbha, Tattva here means Hiranyagarbha. Okay. Tattva Antaritatvena. Even though Virat is separated from Brahma or Ishvara by Hiranyagarbha, there is another entity between Virat and Brahman. Ishvara. We can use the word Ishvara for Brahman. Okay. Even though Virat is separated from Ishvara by Hiranyagarbha, still, so Virat is the grandchild of this Ishvara, still Virat is a product of Ishvara only. That is what he's saying here. Look at that. Saha Tattvantiri Tattvena Lakshyamanaha Api. Even though we understand Virat as being born of Hiranyagarbha, still Api Tattvantari Tattvena means even though there is an intermediary guy called Hiranyagarbha in between what and what? Virat and Ishvara. Okay. Then what? Etasmājjāyate purushat jayate. Virat also is as good as born from this Purusha only. This Nirgunam Brahma, Sagunam Brahma, Ishvara only. So what? When I know this, what do I get? How will my life change if I know this? Please tell me. Did your life change right now? Or are you thinking, oh my God, I didn't know this. My God, this is awesome. Did anybody say that? I didn't see anybody say all these things. That is critical, because otherwise you can't get to Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma. Otherwise you cannot say Jivo Brahmaiva na Paraha. You can't say. Why? Because Jiva is sitting here trying to figure this all out. And so unless you bring Brahma all the way from the top, from Nirgunam Brahma to Sagunam Brahma to Hiranyagarbha to Virat and so on and so forth to Samash Vyashti, and Jiva is sitting here. The whole analysis is meant for me. Until that Brahma comes here, Brahma is there somewhere. That is why it is critical. If we can bring it from Brahman to Hiranyagarbha, and if we can push it a little to Virat, then you can keep pushing it all the way down. Correct? That is why all these pains Upanishad is taking. And Shankara is taking etasmāt eva purushat. This Purusha only has given birth to Virat. Okay. Like the grandchild of the grandfather, Who gave birth to the grandchild? Of course, the grandchild's father gave birth. But still, Father was given birth, mother was given birth by their parents. So you should say the grandchild is born of those parents. And sometimes we do say that proudly, we are all this particular family, that particular family, and all we say. Same thing. Family of Brahman. We are all what? Family of Brahman. Etanmayaha cha iti. And not only Virat was born of Brahman, but Virat is completely made up of Brahman. Etanmayaha. Etanmayaha means what? It is just the Swarupa. Etad Rupaha. The Swarupa of Virat is Brahman. Just like the Swarupa of this pot is clay, like that the Swarupa, if you want to ask what is the nature of this Virat, all beautiful Stula, we use all these words, grass and all. Finally, it is all Brahman only. Etan Mayaha, Etad. So Etad means what? Etad Rupaha, Etad Swarupaha. Okay. So our another Tikakara says Etad Rupaha. And so remains pervaded. Etan Mayaha cha means it's pervaded by Brahman. Virat also is pervaded by Brahman. Etad artham aha tam cha vishinashti. Sorry, sarva bhutantaratma. Sorry, no, there is no sarva. Etad artham aha. This meaning is being said and explained. So all these words which we are not connected to all this word, we are connected to Sambar, Rasam, Mysore Pak and children, son, daughter and all. But where is the connection means that's the connection. Because Brahman, everything is Brahman. If somebody says, it is the responsibility of the Shastram to prove it. And that proof means something to me. It means something to me personally. And therefore, etadartham, this meaning is said. And tam cha vishinashti, that also is being explained. Okay? That is the idea here and here. So if you look at it, this sentence that we just studied, yaha api, that is giving an introduction to the next mantra. Before that, Sankshepataha onwards, all the way to Sutra Bhashyokti Vat Iti, that is an introduction to the entire section 2.1. I hope I'm clear, correct? 2.1 इंट्रोडक्शन देखे दिखाकर उसके बाद उन्होंने is given the sambandha to the next mantra. Agnirmurdha is coming up next. All right. We will complete this in the next class. See, you can understand how teaching this, a teacher who knows what is what has a lot of flexibility, and in deciding what to teach and what to elaborate and what need not elaborate. But today I felt like telling you all the sutra and bhashya and all, because generally we ignore the footnotes. Generally I ignore it. I said no, that detail. But now I wanted to tell you, because this is a bhashyam class, so it's good for you to know what is the definition of bhashyam. Sutra. So like this, they have definitions for every little tika. What is the definition? And like that, so many things are there. Anyway, we will come back in the next class. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Kale Varshatu Parjanyah पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ